Hey guys, welcome to the first episode ever of the Wrestling Corner podcast. I'm your host, Matt Kozakowski. Alongside me is my boy, the one and only Chad Lennex. Chad, how you doing, man?
Good, good. Happy to be here, Matt. Thanks for having me again. It's a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while. For those who are just tuning in, I used to have a podcast called the Pro Wrestling Podcast with Matt and friends. Chad was a guest that I had 3 years ago. We became pretty good friends over the last few years. So I'm very excited to start my rebranding with a good friend here, and really excited to hear how everything's been going. So last time we did sit down previously, when my pod was under a different name, about 3 years ago. Update us. How have you been? What's going on with your career? How's life, man?
Yeah, no, totally. 3 years is crazy. It feels like a lifetime. A lot happened in 3 years. I think last time we talked, I was assistant trainer at RWA, and we were kind of trying to build up those showcases and get some new students in. And then over the last 3 years, life happens. I did leave RWA briefly, moved to North Carolina, and then to Oregon. So was kind of all over the country and doing some different stuff. I think 2023, I got hurt pretty bad, my lumbar spine. So I didn't work all of 2023. I took an entire year off, which is crazy at my age, and it hurts. Uh, but 2024 kind of slowly reintroduced myself back to the business. I was out in the Pacific Northwest. I maybe had a match or two in 2023 now that I think about it in North Carolina, but it was most of the year. And I came back, worked some stuff in Portland, Oregon, and kind of like that area. And then, still, some lingering injury, but nothing too crazy. I'm at the point where, I can support people and be safe in the ring and not hurt anybody and or hurt myself, which is the key. But I was actually drawn back and moved back to Austin, back with RWA, back as an assistant trainer, and now, as you know, which I'm sure we'll talk about later, we launched the association. So executive producer there as well, slash like assistant booker slash everything. So
Everything that you could do,
yeah,
you're doing it.
yeah, doing all that.
That's awesome, man. No,
Yeah,
absolutely 100%. And for those who aren't familiar with the RWA, like you said, we're going to touch base on that in a little bit.
yeah,
But the RWA is the Rhodes Wrestling Association or slash Academy,
yeah.
whichever way you want to look at it. It is Dustin Rhodes' school and promotion. Big things are happening for the RWA, and I'm very excited about what's going to happen in the near future here because I believe it's going to take off.
Totally.
Um, you know, and definitely, man, 100%. So, we talked about your injury,
Yeah,
just a minute ago here back in 2023. And with that injury, you were out for quite some time here.
yeah,
Like you said, almost about a year.
yeah.
What was your like whole like mindset when you were trying to prepare for your in-ring return, getting ready? How was your mindset with the injury?
Yeah, it was brutal, dude. I think like I've been hurt before, and I've taken breaks from wrestling before, and I think like 2020 on was really like kind of like a rebirth. Changed my work name. That's when I got in with Dustin, and started actually making some progress with AEW and things like that, and so being hurt to the point where I felt like I couldn't like work in the ring was hard mentally. Definitely had some moments where I was not in a great place mentally. Um, but I think it's one of those things too where it wasn't like something happened and it was like, oh no, I'm injured. It was just like wear and tear over time, and it was just like worse and worse and worse. So really what I did is I focused on mobility, which is something I really neglected the first half of my my career, which is so important if you're doing anything athletic. So really making sure I just took the time to recover, try not to return like too early, work on the mobility stuff. And then one day you just have to like make the choice. Like, am I good enough? Is it worth it? Can I do it? And I gave it a shot, and I was fortunate that this promotion in Portland called Anarcho Pro allowed me to have my first match back in like a battle royal setting. So it was like I could kind of protect myself and It felt great and I
Still
felt
kind of
fine. I
work.
took, yeah, yeah, exactly. And I took some bumps in there and I felt good and it was kind of, off to the races. So, it's really just one of those you got to just make the choice to do it and hope the circumstances are right.
100%. And I mean, with that being said, like, how was the training to prepare yourself to come back?
Yeah.
Working out and all that stuff. I mean, was it hard, especially with lumbar issues? I mean, what was the
Yeah.
progression there?
Yeah, totally. And it's still, I mean, it still bothers me to this day. I have, man, like I continually like, I don't know what it is, but I continually like pinch nerves, right? And so like I'll have like weeks where I'm just like, oh, like these movements are so like, uh-oh. Um, I will say it was really tough not being around like my school. Like I wish I was still in Texas with that injury just because I didn't really have like an in with anywhere to go like use a ring, which is like there's nothing that can like replace training in a ring. So I was really just like gauging it based on like how I felt in the gym, and like I said, doing a lot of like strengthening and mobility exercise versus like bodybuilding or powerlifting, and then honestly just like on the yoga mats, just seeing if I could take little bumps and do rolls and stuff, and it felt okay. So it was what it was.
Here we are. We're back.
Yeah, here we are. Here we are.
Now, besides our love for professional wrestling, we both share a love for pop punk music.
Yeah.
What's currently on your playlists that pumps you out when you work out sessions or for matches and stuff like that? What are you
Yeah.
listening to?
Yeah, it kind of depends on the mood. Like when I run my classes, I'm blasting a couple of playlists, and I think for workouts and for wrestling training, it's kind of different, right? Like for workouts, I'll kind of filter between pop punk and like some other genres. Like I'm a really big Counterparts fan, and they're more like hardcore, like metalcore adjacent. A big fan of like Dance Gavin Dance and that kind of style of like post-hardcore as well. So I'm listening to that. But pop punk wise, dude, I cannot put over Cliff Diver enough. Um, I had heard them maybe like 2 years ago, and I don't remember the song or whatever, and I was like, okay, they're fine. But I rediscovered them this year. They had a new album drop called Birdwatching in 2024, I guess, a year ago. And dude, just blew me away. So they have a like male female lead vocalist. They have a full-time saxophone player in the
Oh, that's
band,
dope.
and dude, they are unbelievable. Days Gone, I think if you're trying to get into them, that's the first song you listen to. So huge Cliff Diver guy, been really into them lately, and then really big into Koyo right now as well. Who they're a little bit more like they're pop punk, but they like to like say they're part of like the Long Island like hardcore scene, which I guess they are. I actually just went and saw Koyo, the story so far, in San Antonio. So story so far, as always, huge, huge, always on my playlist, and I've been on a crazy newfound glory like resurgence. Um,
Like their
always
older
love.
stuff or newer
Yeah, yeah, dude. I've
okay.
been sticks and stones, man. I've been busting that album out like every week. It's been a summer has been just like on repeat, like crazy. I've been playing that in the school when we're training, and it's funny because a lot of people know that album. So you play those songs and they're all singing it. And then like you and I talk about, State Champs had a pretty solid album come out last year or towards the end of the year. That was really
They're
really nice.
self-titled.
Yeah, it was solid, dude. Really into them. Neck Deep had a really solid album come out last year, also. So, dude, I mean, it's just the huge, but just finding some new people, and then of course, I don't want to leave anywhere without mentioning Hot Mulligan. Um, Very special place in my heart. I'm sure they'll have some new music this year, or next year. So,
Talked about that, and I know they have your heart for sure.
yes, yes,
Now talking to our listeners a little, talk to our listeners a little bit about how like transition comes to for about like our RWA from going from the academy to the association and
yeah.
building up, from there. Talk to people about how it transitioned from the academy to the association.
Yeah, so when I was like I was the original kind of like assistant trainer for Dustin, right? Because at Rhodes Wrestling Academy, like Dustin is the trainer, and I think sometimes you don't get that at wrestling schools. Like it ends up being like it's so and so's named school, but like he has the trainers and you see them every once in a while. Dustin is like the main trainer. So I was really more like assistant. I was there to take the bumps and kind of, try to keep eyes on things that he hadn't seen. And then when it came to showcases, just help him with like booking and stuff. Um, and then we folded in El Rayo, who now is like the camp trainer. When they do camps, he is like the trainer with Dustin, and I kind of focus on post camp training. Um, but around that time, like 2022, we had pitched making the showcases like live, right? And selling tickets and having a crowd. And then that conversation kind of evolved into like, let's actually do a promote. Like, why wouldn't we just have a promotion? Like, we have a stacked roster of students that we've trained and people that have come through the school and obviously connections. And it was
You
always
see a
something
lot
that
of people coming back from showcase to showcase and stuff
Yeah,
like that. So
exactly, right? That have experience and they're working all over the place and they're building their names. And I'm like, we could have something really cool here. We have a building. Um, and I think it's just, there's a lot of logistics that go into that. And it was just tough. And so then I moved away. And then it was funny because then Dustin, it stuck with him. And back in like 2023, he actually posted the logo for the association and was like, we're going to run a promotion. A little premature. He does that. And and then we didn't hear about it for a while. And then in 2024, when I was back, I was still living in Oregon, but he had me come out for like a showcase over the summer. And I stayed. I always like to stay at his house, and we were talking about it. And I was like, dude, like I'll move back, like because he was just stressed about like running a promotion. I'm like, dude, we have to do this. We have the moving pieces. This could be like a huge promotion. There's not a ton of promotions like in the Austin like suburb areas, right? Like there's a market here that we could capture. And dude, I'll move back. I'll run it with you. Like let's do it, So that was kind of the okay, cool. Well, if you move back, like I'll hire you back and like let's get it rolling. So I moved back here in August and resumed training, and then it was just one of those things where we had like one other meeting and then we just pulled the trigger and we're like, let's just see how this goes. And it was kind of like a learning process together, and luckily we have like a solid crew of people to like help out with like here's what I do on this show and here's like something I recommend. I mean, we can fit like nearly like around 200 people in the building. We have two rings in the building. We broke down the one and put it in storage and just like staged it, and dude, it was just kind of like let's see how it goes. We got some graphics made and we booked out a show, and dude, it was like a smashing hit. Like we sold out like super quick. He was like, "Whoa." I was like, "Brother, I'm telling you." So now we're three shows in. Each show I feel like is better than the last, and now we're looking at like running like bigger venues.
that's
Not
awesome.
not tomorrow, but soon, So growing. Yeah.
That's so cool. Now, did you guys have you guys done shows where you guys did the academy or do the academy too? Like, have you guys done a show in the same building, or has it kind of been different locations?
Yeah, so every show has been at the Academy, just because I mean we have that building, so it's like, when you first start a promotion, there's not a lot of money, so it's like, and like the money you make just goes like back into like paying talent and production and all that. So, if we have the building, we may as well use the space, and the space is pretty cool, right? With all the posters up and stuff, it's kind of a fun setting. There's some spatial challenges with like locker rooms and entranceways and stuff, but like we figured it out. Um, but yeah, ideally we'll start looking at some locations where we have some connections and we can fit some more people in and maybe have a more elaborate like setup. But yeah, they'll be at the school at the bullpen as Dustin calls it for a little while. The next few shows at the very least.
Well, that's awesome. Now, where do you see this company going now that it's made the transition to an association? Like, what doors do you see it opening up?
Yeah, so I'll give you a couple of things. So I think from a business standpoint, I would hope that this would put a little more meat on the bone for folks that want to come do a camp with Dustin. Because as you see right now, like the only folks that are booked are people that have like been through a camp and or have a close relationship with Dustin. And that's not to say we're not going to book from the outside. Like we obviously have a ton of connections and we will book folks from the outside, but like our core roster are all students or people who have been through a Dustin camp. So I'm hoping like folks that want to get into the business or that are in the business and are looking for a little more, they see these shows and like how well they're doing and they want to be a part of it. So they want to come be a part of the academy, learn Dustin's way, go through a camp. There'll still be student showcases, at least for the time being, with no fans and giving the students a little bit of experience. And we'll see how that transitions. So from the academy standpoint, that's what I hope happens. From a company standpoint, like I said, I really think we have a unique product for the market because, I think Dustin's style is much more like television and old school, and like we have a diverse roster, right? Like we have folks that are like on the indies and doing indie matches, which there's nothing wrong with that. They're a lot of fun. And then there's folks that are like much more into like their gimmicks and trying to work a TV style. And I mean, you'll see if you watch our shows, like our crowd, like our audience, like that's what they want. They're like old school wrestling fans, right? So I think we have a unique product. And I do think there's not a ton of competition in the area. And the folks that we do have in the area, like we already have good relationships with and or are building good relationships. So there's no like animosity there. And I think this could be something that really becomes like the premier place in Texas at the very least. Like that's where you'd want to be, right? Like you want to be at Rhodes Wrestling Association if you're in Texas or in the surrounding areas on an indie level. And we have plans to eventually stream and sign some deals and stuff like that. But we're scaling, man. It takes time. So
Oh no, 100%. And I think what you guys are doing is absolutely incredible.
yeah,
Ever since we've talked, and I mean, we've talked off screen a lot, and I've told you how much so and so stuck out to me in one of the
yeah,
showcases, or this person in the showcase is a lot of fun, and
sure,
obviously you put a lot of work into your character work, which is
sure,
fantastic, and I
yeah,
love it so much.
yeah,
Watching you develop and stuff like that is awesome to see.
yeah,
Now the RWA they started coming out with titles and stuff now.
yeah.
The association has tag team titles now, which you just had a tag team title match
I did.
recently. We
Yeah,
It's not posted yet. The show is not posted yet.
yeah,
So the RWA has such a like wealth of amazing wrestlers, including some with some pretty legendary lineage. Namely the Texas Outlaws, who are the next generation of Rhodes.
yeah,
Um, or Runnels, however you want to say it, Rhodes for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah.
Talk us through as much as you can before it's available to viewers, how you think this match went, and what was your thought process going into this match?
Yeah, yes, I think RWA is very fortunate to have like a super stacked. We've been very fortunate, right? Like you said, I think like if you look at some of our top guys here, Jimmy House, Cordell, who's formerly CD Bennett, Vin Parker, formerly Slim Seven. I'm gonna leave out a bunch of people, but I mean our whole roster rules. Movie Mike. I mean these guys are like awesome workers, and a lot of them started with us, and they're gonna be huge in the business. So it's like that's like kind of a testament to RWA. But yeah, Texas Outlaws are Wyatt and Wayne Rhodes, nephews to Cody and Dustin. It's funny because I've known them since they were teenagers. They used, they would come to the school and like I just never really knew they wanted to do this, right? And it's one of those things like the moment they step in the ring, you're just like they're just so natural. It's literally like watching Dustin and Cody like as a tag team. It's over like it's insane. They're so young and they just have the world ahead of them, and they have obviously such a good um lineage, and they have so many people in their corner, and they're great kids also, just I mean respectful and humble, and it's great. So obviously strategically wanted to work with them. I do help, train them. So it was one of those things where I was like, I would love to kind of like be in live rounds matches with you, which is why those booking decisions were made. And unfortunately, they kind of got derailed. My tag partner, Lucas Chase, another friend of the show, is injured. So long story on that one, but we had to change the match a little bit. So listen,
Oh
this
no.
match, yeah, it was unfortunate. And last month I worked Wyatt Rhodes in a singles match, which is available on YouTube. Winter Warfare, a lot of fun. He's a great kid, just ball of energy, dude. Too old for that, but I think to your point earlier, man, like I'm kind of past the point of trying to have like 5-star indie matches, and really like my goal is like I'm a character and I want my comedy to really shine through, and I want my matches to have a story that leads to something. I don't care if the match is like 5 stars or wow, that was the best match on the show. I want it to be entertaining. I want people to have a good time, and I want to get reactions, and I want it to drive something else forward, right? So kind of the story behind this match, especially with Lucas Chase being hurt, was my partner was gone. El Rayo's partner in the RWA Outlaws, RTJ, was out. El Rayo didn't have a match. Dustin makes us team up together because both of our partners are out to go for the tag belts, right? And as you can imagine, that's the story of this match. So I think we had a lot of fun moments in this match. Dylan or Wyatt and Wayne Rhodes look fantastic. And it drove a little bit of a storyline forward. I will say, dude, we just like as a side note, everyone at RWA, not everyone, but a huge chunk of folks got the flu like 2 weeks before that. So we're
Oh
all
no.
like, yeah, you can probably still hear it. I'm so nasally. We were all like recovering, and like we were all not like sick anymore, but it's just, once you have
Yeah.
the flu, you have like the congestion. So we were all
Yep.
dying. So you'll see in
I
that
just had it
match,
too, so I get it.
brother, totally, dude. It is awful. It is the worst thing to go through.
Yep.
And having a match, I was like, shit, I got it is what it is, man. And so you'll see in that match, the story of the match really is, I'm letting a little behind the curtain. I'm having El Rayo do the moves, and then I'm tagging myself in to take the advantage to try to win, right? So that's
Well,
more
Chad
character driven stuff.
Lennex.
Yeah, typical Chad shit. But I filled Mother's purse with an oxygen tank and Kleenex, and that's for shoot. That's a real. I was like, I need this in this match. I was blowing my nose. You'll see it. But listen, we got
Fantastic.
through. We got through. People laughed when they were supposed to. People cheered when they were supposed to, and that's all that matters to me. So it's a fun one. It's a fun match.
I can't wait to see it, and I'm sure when the match comes out, everybody's going to be really excited about it because
Sure.
you guys got the trainers of the school versus this
Yeah.
next generation of Rhodes.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Right.
like perfection at its finest.
Sure.
Now I do want to talk to you about like dream matches for a minute. I'm sure we talked about this on my last show.
Sure.
Which wrestlers, dead or alive, would you have loved to have been in the ring with, or still would love to be in the ring with, and put on an absolute clinic?
Yeah. It's tough because I think like when I think about this question, I have guys that I like love, and then I have guys I'm like, but who would I want to be in the ring with? And it's like I want to be okay. So to me, like it's hard to narrow it down, but to me, like my top guys like ever, William Regal, Chris Hero, um, huge Bobby Eaton fan, D'Lo Brown. Like those are guys, Dean Malenko, like those are guys that I'm like, I would love to like chain wrestle with and like have like a really nice, like hard hitting match. But then I'm a huge, like I've been really into like old AJPW, so like Masawa and Kawada, but I'm like, I don't know if I actually want to be in the ring with them and just get the shit beat out of me. So I'm like,
Right.
probably I would say like number one would be Regal. Just I feel like I could learn so much and just I mean, I've been using the Regal stretch as a finish, and it's like, man, I just think that probably him, and then Chris Hero, just because I think he's well regarded, but I still think he's probably the most underrated worker of this generation. Like he doesn't get
Oh,
enough
for
credit
sure.
still, and so I'd love to be in the ring with him. So
No, 100%. And I don't think Chris Hero, like you just said, like gets the recognition he deserves. I mean, he's been doing
yeah,
this for so long. And in my opinion, one of the best indie workers of all time, and never
agreed.
really got that showcase, on the main screen. It breaks my heart to watch. We've seen his former tag team partner, Claudio, do his thing for a while. And
Yeah,
other guys have done their stuff too. I think Chris Hero on that list is the only one that really hasn't been able to showcase, and it's so heartbreaking to see because I'm pretty sure his career isn't going to be that much longer. Inside the ring, and I know he does backstage stuff for AEW, but it's a bummer to see. But hopefully we can get you one of those matches soon. I would love to see you
yeah.
versus D'Lo Brown.
Oh yeah,
Him walking
yeah,
down, cracking his neck.
yeah, dude. Give me that sky high,
Uh,
baby.
oh hell yeah, man! No, 100%. No, but we talked about your character work and how that's your more focal point now, and you got one of the best catchphrases in the business. Absolutely love it. We hate it here.
Yeah, good
Um,
straight.
you know, but no, I mean, being in the RWA, being the right hand man of Dustin, is very exciting to see, and training the next generation of talent, and kind of seeing where they come. I mean, Vin Parker, like you talked about a little bit ago, formerly known as Slim Seven, started from you know just training in RWA and is absolutely incredible inside the ring.
Yeah,
Lucas Chase, was one of those guys, like yourself that, when we talked about it before, is you guys have both wrestled before the RWA for a
yeah,
while. And,
yeah,
the RWA is really where you guys changed your name and changed, stuff about your guys' selves that made you to where you are right now. Like Lucas was killing it and beyond wrestling and stuff. And, you're doing everything you can to help build this next generation, which is
yeah.
absolutely incredible. What do you think is next for the RWA?
Yeah, I think as long as we keep down this path, man, I think you're gonna see some more kind of like breakout students. I think you're gonna see some of the students who maybe you've only seen at RWA start to really branch out and get some good looks. I mean, there's certainly like interest on a lot of them. Null, for example, Big Null.
Yep.
He's going to Japan to Pro Wrestling Noah.
Oh,
He's
that's
gonna go
cool.
do, yeah, he's doing a tour. He leaves next month. So, I feel like that's just the beginning. And now with the association, I think a lot of eyes are going to be on a lot of these folks, and that's my goal, man. Like, I've been in the business a while. I have no illusions to like me. Like, of course, I would take opportunities, but really, like, my focus is getting our roster over and getting them opportunities and making sure our show's the best it can be and they get the best that they can. So that's what I see. And RWA wise, man, I think it's just gonna keep growing. No choice but to, right?
Oh no, for sure. And the way you guys promote your stuff is absolutely incredible too. You see so much promotion from Dustin, you see so much promotion from yourself, the RWA in general. People love your guys' product. So
Yeah, it's good.
so finally here, where does Chad Lennex go from here? You've had a really solid career already, especially with what you've been doing as of late. So where do you envision yourself, going next?
Yeah, man, I think when you're in this business, I think it's like one of those things where it's very rare that I think everybody gets everything that they envisioned for themselves. And I think when I was younger, I definitely had a little bit of a chip on my shoulder and felt like I wanted more or deserved more, for lack of a better term. And I think like at my age now and like I said, with everything I've done, I just kind of have a different mindset on things. Like I'm open to opportunity, sure. Like if someone sees something and they're like, "Oh, that was great. We'd love to use you to do this or that." Of course, like I would be open. When Dustin's like, "Yo, we may need some extra work at AEW," like, sure, I'll go do that or Ring of Honor or whatever. Um, Extra work that we have our WWE connection too. Like I'm open to stuff like that. But again, I have no illusions that like a lot of my prime years have sort of especially in ring are kind of at the tail end, right? Which is why again I'm leaning so much more into character stuff because my body hurts and it's easier, but easier for me at least. I think I'm really focusing, like you said, right now on the business side of things and seeing if we can scale this promotion. I think that's a big feather in my cap, and I think something to add to the resume to where like maybe a bigger company down the road, I have the experience scaling a company. I can help out producing and training and doing this and that. And really I'm just big on I want to get these folks that are either brand new or starting to be new from the ground up and help build them and make them confident. I don't even care when I have a good match now. I get satisfaction out of watching somebody that I've helped train have their first good match. Like that means more to me and I get more fulfillment out of that. And I think it took me a while to like recognize that, but like coming back now, that's really where I feel it. And yeah, so I mean I'm happy doing that. I'm still going to be in the ring and doing my thing, and it's helpful that I can kind of choose what I'm doing for most of the time. And I'm happy with that, man. I think we're doing a good thing. So
No, I do too. And, just doing what you're doing, man, is absolutely, like I said, incredible. So it wouldn't be a podcast though, without telling like fans where they could find you at on social media.
Yeah.
Chad, you want to tell them where they could find you at?
Yeah, at chadlennexrules on X and Instagram. I'm not a big Facebook guy, and honestly, I'm not a big X guy either for a lot of reasons. But I'm on there, so feel free to follow me. Um, Instagram is probably where I'm the most active. Like I said, at Chad Lennex Rules. Make sure you follow RWA, Rhodes Wrestling Association, on Instagram, on X, Rhodes Wrestling, and Rhodes Wrestling Academy. Follow both. Facebook, Rhodes Wrestling Association. Our next show, Friday, February 21st, the first ever Rhodes Cup tournament will take place in the bullpen in Leander, Texas. So, February 21st is the next one, and then, stay tuned for the future dates.
Awesome. I'm excited. I can't look for I can't wait to see it. I'm very excited for what's next for the RWA and for Chad Lennox. Chad, any parting words, events, matches? I know you just mentioned the Rhodes Cup.
Yep.
Anything else that you're looking out for in the near future here?
Yeah, that's really the biggest stuff. Like I said, stay tuned to future dates. We in the next few months might have an even bigger announcement. We'll see. I don't know yet. So just keep your eyes on the social media, and watch our stuff on YouTube. That high tension that just took place should be on YouTube relatively soon. So please like, subscribe, just turn on the notification bell, whatever, so you know when it's posted. And Matt, I'm happy you're back doing this, man. Wish you nothing but success.
Absolutely. No, I wish you the same, man, and I'm very excited to see what the future holds. Give it to us one time, Chad. We got to hear the catchphrase.
I hate it here. There it is.
Perfect. All right, guys. Until next time, I was Matt. This is Chad Lennox. You guys take care. Peace
Thanks,
out.
y'all.